Good evening, good morning. It's almost 1 o'clock. I have since rewatched my, one second here. I have since rewatched my Meaning of the Trumpet video, part 4. And then I went and watched my summaries from way back on chapters 10 and 11, and this recap one. What else did I do? Well, moving forward, what I really want to do is create a video on like this rainbow-headed angel, which is kind of like a story or a series of events that happen before the final trumpet 7 is sounded. And I want to create a video summarizing that and then actually doing so by getting such pictures on the screen. So that's a work I plan to do in this video. But what I have to do first is tie up some loose ends from this Meaning of the Trumpet video I just made, the part 4.1, because I made a lot of mistakes in it. So I have to correct those. Okay. It'll become clear in a moment. So I'll just take it back to chapter 8. And once again, the opening of the seals kind of runs into the 7 trumpets being sounded. So I will just read chapter 8, verse 1. And when he had opened the 7th seal, there was a silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. And another angel came, and this is not the angel with the trumpets. This is just a separate angel in heaven, close to the throne of God. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer, and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices, and thunderings, and lightnings, and an earthquake. That last 3 details, those last 3 details, are the correction that I have to make, because somewhere in this Meaning of the Trumpet video part 4, I said that this angel casts his incense into the earth and nothing happens. That's not entirely true. There's thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. But especially the earthquake. The earthquake is a pretty significant thing to happen. So, between the seals, or after the 7th seal is opened, and before the first trumpet is sounded, this angel does this incense thing and casts it into the earth. But when he does that, there's an earthquake. So that makes a correction from the last video. I'll try and find it. Okay, so that answers that one. Next, another correction I have to make is who the locusts are to hurt. Okay, so here I am here, and just to get it clear, the 5th angel who sounds his trumpet initiates or triggers the opening of the bottomless pit, and the locusts which come out, who are under the authority of the pit angel king, and Apollyon. So that's the 5th angel sounding, and the 6th angel sounding then initiates the lion-headed horses who are to kill men. And once again, the locusts are just to hurt men, and these lion-headed horses are to kill men. And these lion-headed horses, who are sort of in association with these 4 Euphratian angels, who are distinct from the angels on the 4 corners of the earth, totally different. But anyway, they're to slay men, these ones I think, and they're to do it through this lion-headed horse army. And this lion-headed horse army kills men, but the bad people, the sorcerers, the idolaters, the fornicators, and the thieves. So the locusts are just to hurt men, and these are to kill men. But the correction I have to make, and the thing I was searching for in my last video, was who the locusts torment. Okay. It says here in Revelation on the subject of locusts in verse 4, and it was commanded them, the locusts, that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And I even made some notes on this in my previous video. So the locusts are to hurt the men without the seal. So just to reaffirm and reestablish who does have the seal of God in their foreheads. Well, that goes back to the angel who ascended from the east, who also had the seal himself, I believe. And I'll just read. The servants of God are sealed in their forehead, as cried from the angel ascending from the east. Those sealed are the tribes of the children of Israel. And I gave the applicable verses. So, to contrast that, the locust creatures are to hurt men without the seal. And at this point, the children of Israel, I think that's the 144,000, have already been sealed. At this point, that happened back in chapter 7, and then it kind of enumerates them, or lists them, the tribes of the children of Israel. And on that subject, it goes a little like this. So that they're to torment men who don't have the seal of God. Right? I guess the remnant of men, perhaps, that are left over from those that are sealed. And then these guys are actually to come along and kill all the bad stuff. Now, does that mean all men are killed? Or does it just mean a certain portion of the men who don't have the seal but were really, really bad were killed? I think that's what I'm tending to believe is the case. But I stand to study that one further. And this kind of brings up some ideas I had. So these lion-headed horses, this is, of course, the 6th seal. They kill. So I suppose if you had to define those that they kill are the dead. And that's kind of an important batch or group that has been defined here, because later on in Revelation it talks about the dead being judged. And off the top of my head, I don't know where that verse is. But it kind of defines a group of people, the dead. And maybe I'm even mixing things up. But there's even like the second death later. Like, is that somehow related? But there are other concepts in Revelation, and perhaps I should even do a word search on it. All the times that the dead are mentioned, particularly after the lion-headed horse army comes by. Like even in Revelation 11 verse 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the... Oh no, that's the witnesses. So even in this verse, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto the servants, the prophets. To me, that's actually talking about perhaps the servants, which were sealed in their forehead, which happens in chapter 7, so this is before any of this chart. But then you've got the remnant from that, those that don't have the seal that are tormented, and then further of those that are killed for really bad stuff, and then they're actually killed, so they're actually the dead. So then you have later in Revelation 11:18, which is shortly after the seventh seal, seventh trumpet is sounded. There's this concept that the dead should be judged, and that reward should be given to the servants and prophets and to the saints. So to me, it's really talking on the same subject of things that were taking place back in chapter 9, which is the fifth angel sounding. And then in chapter 9 is the locusts, and then the lion-headed horses. So maybe this is a little quick type of video that ties up some of the loose ends, and it also introduces some of the new concepts that I need to pursue further for study, such as the concept of the dead. Oh yeah, here's the other thing I wanted to sort of point out as well. So chapter, where am I at? Chapter 9 into 10, around there, is not even halfway through the book of Revelation. Revelation being 22 chapters. So the dead killed by the lion-headed horses, by conventional understanding, seems to almost be like the end of the story of Revelation. Like, okay, well, there you go. That's it. The dead are killed. So that's it, right? The servants are sealed in their foreheads. Chapter 7. And then the dead are killed, or the unsealed people are tormented by locusts, according to the fifth trumpet sound. And then the sixth trumpet sound, you've got the lion-headed horses, which kill the bad people. So end of story, right? Isn't that the complete ending of the story? And I mean, I've read Revelation probably 20 times by now, but I'm like, yeah, but it goes on for another, I don't know, 12 chapters. So there's almost a story of finality with the bad people being killed, but then, oh no, that's certainly not the end. So I guess I was having a hard time pointing that out, but it's like, yeah, it seems like the story of Revelation almost seems to end at chapter 9, but it doesn't, so why not? And hopefully I can maybe expand on what I'm saying now, moving forward. So this video I won't call Meaning of the Trumpets. I think I'm going to call it like Minor Corrections and Newly Presented Ideas to Study.